Howdy, Aggie Land. Welcome to the SEC.
Our program will be built on 4 principles in which I talk about all the time: toughness, effort, discipline, and pride.
Dang it! I'm going to have to buy that boy cream cone.
Now I'm distracted on my point. What were we talking about?
It's bullcrap. All I care about is winning. Show me the dang baby.
You do it till they do it right, and then you do it till they can't do it wrong.
Go get him. Why are you dancing around? Eat him like he's a steak.
He fits what TexAgs Radio is about. He fits into what the listeners are going to want. He's a pro on every level.
That's how long I've been on ya.
It's Nuno and the crew on TexAgs Radio, right here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Zone.
You know how long I've been on ya.
So part of our job here on TexAgs is to keep you abreast of everything happening A&M related when it comes to articles, opinions around the country, around the world, when it comes to things breaking. We give you analysis. We give you the A&M perspective. That's part of what we do. There's a lot more, but that is a little part of what we do. And this morning I had an idea of the direction I was going to take the show. And then my partner in crime, Olin Buchanan, walks in here. It's the Go Hour with OB here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. OB, you walk in, and I'm going to do a dramatic interpretation of OB. All right, this is not exactly how it went, but it looked a little bit like this. He walks in, if you're watching on YouTube or on the CW, and he kind of does a little breath, and he just drops this magazine in front of me, just like that, and he points. Read this. That's a dramatic interpretation of how it went. OB, good morning to you. What did you read recently that caught your attention?
Well, it was the Athlon National College Football Preview,
okay,
of which I write the A&M
perspective
section on it.
Yep.
And I think one of the probably the most interesting thing that in this every year is the comments from an opposing coach.
Right.
Who's anonymous. We don't know if they're an assistant coach. We don't know if they're a head coach. And we're looking at that, and he was saying that A&M's an 8-4 team, and Jimbo knows it. And
that A&M is an 8-4 team because they just finished 8-4, or because they're going to be 8-4 again?
Well, that it doesn't really.
But Jimbo knows.
He says they're every bit an 8-4 program.
Oh.
Program, and Jimbo knows it.
They're every bit an 8-4 program, and Jimbo knows it.
So, I think if I just went 8-4, and again with all the injury issues A&M had last year, we know about quarterback. We've talked about it all over and over. Two true freshmen started in the offensive line. A freshman started at a cornerback. They had all kinds of injuries in the receiver position, and still to go 8-4, beat Alabama, and be in position to win or take the lead in all those games in the fourth quarter, and still go 8-4. To me, that's an indication that you're not an 8-4 program. And they've gone they've won 8 games twice in Jimbo's tenure. The second time was his second year after they had lost a lot of players to the NFL, and his recruits weren't quite ready to make a big impact yet. And they played one of the toughest schedules ever in the history of college football. So, I don't get it, but I applaud the fact that there are those out there that seem to in my opinion, underestimate this program. I want them to be underestimating this program.
Yeah, so I'm looking at Jimbo's record. I'm going to go from Florida State on. 10 wins, 9 wins, 12 wins, 14 wins, 13 wins, 10 wins, 10 wins. That's at his time at Florida State, and then the 5-win season. Okay, I don't know about you, but that seems elite.
Yeah, if you can get multiple 10-win seasons, that's
pretty elite.
Coaching.
So then he goes to the SEC West, the hardest division in all of college football. And his first year, 9-4, which I think was a pretty good year considering it was the first year, a lot of change, and they had a very hard schedule. The next year, 8-5. The next year, 9-1, which to me is a 90% win record, right? Winning percentage.
Well,
and then 8-4.
That year in 2020, we all know that if not for COVID, they probably go 11-1. They would have played Colorado here instead of Florida. They would have had 3 wins over, those lesser opponents, that non-conference opponents. They still would have played South Carolina, which they killed. They, still would have played, their SEC West opponents. So, and who knows, they might have been even better, because I still don't think anybody was going to beat that Alabama team, but you would have played Alabama late in the year when your team was getting better, instead of early in the year.
So we say all that, and that's why yesterday's topic came up, that you are who you are. So right now, if that's the perception, fine, let it be the perception. These anonymous coaches and sources that are saying that Jimbo knows. How do you know what Jimbo knows? That's just ridiculous. But that being said, that's why this year matters.
Well, and when I read this, it's funny because I read, and they talk about what a big loss Mike Elko is. Okay.
Big loss.
And what are they going to do about that? But then I read the Ole Miss, and they says DJ Durkin turned that defense around, and they're going to miss him. So if Ole Miss is going to miss him, and he's at A&M, and he did a great job at Ole Miss, what's he going to do at A&M with better talent?
So would you say that quarterback matters in college football?
Quarterback does matter.
Okay. What did they say about Ole Miss?
Georgia.
Oh, except for Georgia. and by the way, it mattered in the championship game where Stetson Bennett played well. Yeah. So what did it say about Ole Miss and their 2022 season aspirations?
Basically, they said it's all on the quarterback, and if Jackson Dart isn't the real deal, then they're probably going to have a long, painful season.
But if he is the real deal,
then they could win championships.
Okay. Couldn't you and shouldn't you, and I don't know if it's the same.
It's not the same guy necessarily. Necessarily.
But couldn't you use that same logic with Texas A&M?
Sure, absolutely.
If Haynes King is worth a darn, if Max Johnson does what he did last year at LSU with, without losing his wide receiver and with the way the team is built and all the things that we know is going on, or if it's Connor Wegman, wouldn't you then in the same way, shape, or form say that 8-4 season last year now turns into a 10-win season or beyond?
I think what A&M needs more than anything at quarterback is a guy that doesn't make a lot of mistakes, because he's going to have all kinds of weapons around him. I'm still believing that Evan Stewart's going to be one of those rare freshmen that come on and burst on the scene, a Christian Kirk type of guy that makes a huge impact his first year, and he still has a nice. And I don't know if Jake Johnson is going to be as good as Jalen Wademeyer. But
I think he's going to be good, though.
But the fact is, maybe he'll be as good as Wademeyer was as a freshman, which is pretty dang good.
It is pretty darn good. So, and again, I say all of this because I think A&M's going to be really good, but they do have to go prove it.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, the end of this, it says A&M has a really good offensive line, which to me always says that means you're having a good offense. But it basically says, A&M beat Alabama but lost to Ole Miss. If you do that again, you become Ole Miss when you're being paid to be Alabama. Okay, that's somewhat fair.
Sure.
They didn't pay Jimbo Fisher to come in here and be, have a good, solid program. The aspirations is to be elite.
Would we say that Matt Corral was a world-class college quarterback? He was pretty darn good, like pretty elite?
He looked elite to me.
When he was healthy, he was phenomenal, was he not?
I mean, and they made a huge difference when that guy played when he did.
And when he got hurt, what happened to Ole Miss's offense?
Well, they weren't as good.
I use that because now one game as opposed to a full season. A&M starting quarterback gets hurt. A&M's backup quarterback comes in, has one good moment. One really good moment. The rest, he was
average to below average.
Right.
And more below average than average.
And when that happens.
And it may be because he was hurt, but it still is the case.
The numbers weren't there. The production was not there. And by the way, if they say the offensive line is better, okay, the offensive line is going to be pretty good. I think most of America agrees the defense is going to be pretty good. Maybe not as good as last year, but pretty darn good, right?
I think the only question about the defense is, are you going to have the same pass rush?
Okay, and I think that's fair, but pretty good defense overall. If you're good up with an offensive line and good with the defensive line, and you can run the ball, I think most people think A-Chain can run the ball pretty well.
I think so.
Okay. So that means it's going to come down to, like it's always been in the Jimbo era, how you execute in the fourth quarter if you win those fourth quarter games. Because every loss last year came down to about 6-7 minutes left in the game.
Right. And they didn't execute in the fourth quarter all the time. They did against Alabama, obviously, but all the time they didn't.
And what was different in the fourth quarter against Alabama? Would you say the quarterback play was pretty phenomenal at that point?
The quarterback play, I thought, in the last 5 minutes was phenomenal. I thought it was above average the rest of the way.
You would have taken that above average all year, though. For
yes,
sure.
If you got above average, but not phenomenal, then you probably win every game except the Alabama game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, that's why I consistently say that, I think A&M should expect a 10-win season, and anything fewer than 10 wins, we'd have to come back. And if we're having this conversation in January and they finish with 9 wins, say, it's disappointing.
Yeah. Now, 9 wins, and by the way, I say 9 wins is disappointing heading into the bowl game. I want to have 10 heading into the bowl game with a chance for 11.
Well, of course, I want to have 12.
Sure.
Or 13.
Yeah.
But I'm one of those that say, well, if you finish 10-3, that's a heck of a season.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I think that's the goal to set is 10 wins no matter how you get it. But I think 10 wins just meets expectations. You look to exceed expectations.
Exceed expectations. All right, if you want to be a part of the discussion, you can do that on the A&B text line 979-693-1150. A&B, a College Station branch of the Amarillo National Bank. Good Texas banking. The website is anb.com. You can also call us on the BCSI hotline. Just a little program agenda that we have going on here is what we have. We're going to talk about the best transfers in college football of all time here in the next segment. We'll also continue through our top 12 moments of the year at 9:05 TexAgs Idol, 9:35 the great R.C. Slocum will join the show. 10:05 James Palmer of the NFL Network will give us some NFL tidbits. We'll do that here on TexAgs Radio. Let's go around the room and say hello. Sam Kamen behind the glass. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. So my question, don't we want to be kind of like the Ole Miss team of 2015? I'm looking at their schedule right now. They went 10-2. They're the last team to beat Alabama back-to-back seasons, and their only 2 losses were at Florida, who was ranked 25th at the time, and then the overtime game against Arkansas where they lost by 1 point.
No, I want to be LSU 2019.
There you go.
Where you win the national championship.
And I don't even have to worry about it because I'm beating the hell out of everybody so bad.
Yeah.
That's who I want to be.
Yeah, if you're asking who we want to be,
right?
If you're saying at the end of the year of this 2022 season, if you say, hey, you guys went 10-2 and you beat Bama again. Would I take it? Yeah, 100% I take it.
Yeah, but then I say, we beat Bama, and that means you screwed it up somewhere else.
But there's a part of me that says, yeah, it's the SEC West. Of course you did.
Okay, I'm that guy now, and maybe I'm delusional, okay? But I'm that guy now. I'm not ready to concede anything. So, yeah, again,
it's July. We don't have to. June. Sorry.
What? But I believe that there's enough talent. When we go to SEC Media Days, we have to make our predictions. I am going to predict Alabama to win the West and the SEC because that's just on paper how it should be. But even in that game, even in Tuscaloosa, I think A&M has a team that is capable of going in there and beating Alabama, and not just if they play a perfect game and Alabama, makes a mistake here, then in the fourth quarter. No, I think you're good enough to go in there and not have to play perfect, but you have to play well and win in that game. I think this team, it's time to say, yes, you expect this team, this program to play at a high level all the time.
Is the next step for A&M to beat Bama consecutive year after consecutive year? I mean, and looking at this Ole Miss team, you had Chad Kelly, who was that QB presence that you need, and this year you've got 3 potential guys that can do it.
Here's the next step: college football playoffs, whatever that means. That's the next step.
You have to go through Alabama, though.
Okay.
And maybe Alabama has to go through A&M.
Exactly.
Yeah. Remember, Jimbo was a little, cocky's not the right word, but he believes in his team. He believed in them last year. I think he even believes in them even more right now.
And you know what I love about Ross Bjork? I was talking to him the other day about, we were talking about one he said, as athletic director, I'm here to meet expectations. And I thought, I remember the athletic director that wanted to manage expectations.
Yeah. Let's go now to the News and Social Center. Emily Fiedler, good morning to you, Emily.
Good morning. How are y'all doing this morning?
We're doing well. What's up in the world of news and text messages?
So first off, we have Antonio Johnson was named Walter Camp preseason All-American first team. So congratulations to him. And then Texas A&M baseball finished number 3 in polls from D1 Baseball and Baseball America rankings.
All right, love that. The number 3 ranking.
That's who I want to be. I want to be the Ole Miss baseball team, not the Ole Miss football team.
There you go. Yeah, I'd rather be the Ole Miss baseball team from this year, which I think A&M would have beat them in a championship game. That's just my opinion. I'm sticking to it.
I agree with that opinion.
There's 100 people talking at once. Sorry, what?
Beat them at Swayze.
Beat them at Swayze, and then go ahead, Emily.
I agree that we would beat them in the championship.
Yeah, and she knows.
And she knows because she knew that second baseman at Ole Miss.
Oh, see.
Here it comes again.
Here it comes. Hey, Emily, what text messages do you have for us this morning?
So Dave says, y'all know I'm one of the biggest homers around, but last year was the first year I was actually upset with our coaching staff. I feel like our coaches definitely let us down in the Mississippi State loss and the Ole Miss loss. Both losses we had the better talent with our injuries. I feel like we got gimmicked out and coached out. I want to see improvement from that this year. There was no excuses for losing to the Mississippi schools.
Where I'll be critical is I think A-Chain deserved the ball more.
I think A-Chain deserved the ball more. Here's where I'm critical. As much as I really admire the job that Mike Elko did.
I know where you're going here, yeah.
I think he had a poor game plan against Mississippi State.
Yep.
I think
he didn't adjust.
Yeah, they were just – I get it. It worked the year before, but it wasn't working that game of just, sagging off. And so Mike Leach said, okay, I'll take this 4-yard completion all the way down the field. And that's exactly what they did. So, but beyond that, my biggest issue with Jimbo was, like you said, I would like to send more A-Chain, and I thought it was a poor play call when they had 3rd and 2 against you. The game's on the line in the LSU. The game's on the line. And I don't want I don't want the biggest play to be put on the shoulders of Zach Calzada of rolling out and making a play. Just get my best running back out there and let's see if I can't run for 2 yards.
Yep. When we come back, we want to hear from you on the best transfers of all time and why. OB, start thinking in your head some of the best transfers we've ever seen here at Texas A&M or anywhere. Yeah, anywhere. I'm talking all of college football, but definitely we want to put an emphasis on A&M. For over 140 years, the Association of Former Students has helped continue the oldest, most inspiring tradition of Aggies helping Aggies out there. They've been doing it for such a long time. And you've heard about all the specific support that the association has given, everything from scholarships to Aggie Band to Silver Taps to class reunions to muster. That is what the association does. And if you ever stop to think about the why, this is a thing that you should do. Just go to IamTheWhy.com. This is where Aggies share their unique stories and their perspectives. They show the support of the Aggie Network by helping Aggies everywhere. So you know the what, but the why is people just like you. So when you go to IamTheWhy.com is where you find these unique stories like Jose's, who talks about the challenges his family overcame in order for him to be at A&M, or you've got Corbin, who talks about the support he received after a car accident and how it helped his journey to help others through higher education. Again, these are the kind of stories you'll find on IamTheWhy.com. Go check it out, IamTheWhy.com. It's the Association of Former Students.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone. The Franklin Ranch invites you to a free fireworks show on Wednesday. Hot dogs, drinks, chips, and snow cones will be provided. Food starts at 6. Fireworks start at 9. Award-winning storyteller Tony Simmons is speaking at the Brazos Valley African American Museum on Thursday at 7 p.m. Admission is free. College Station Noon Lions Club is hosting the 3rd annual I Love America donation drive at the Brazos Center on Saturday from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. All donations support families in need through the Salvation Army BCS. For more information, visit csnoonlions.org. Friends of the Wheelock Schoolhouse invite you to their 4th of July barbecue and parade. The fun starts at 10 a.m. at the Wheelock Schoolhouse. You can listen to The Zone online at radioaggieland.com. Listen to TexAgs Radio, The Louis Bellina Show, Chip Howard, or ESPN Radio, plus all your favorite A&M teams online at radioaggieland.com. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Texas Army National Guard. Aired by the Texas Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Big deals. Looking for more ways to save money? Aren't we all? Jenny here. Shop your local Big Deals online store. You'll find gift certificates to all kinds of local businesses, places where you already shop, restaurants you already love, and great local entertainment. The best part? All of these gift certificates are on sale at discounted prices. Get them for yourself or buy them as a gift. Shop and save. You'll be glad you did.
AggielandBigDeals.com to save big. AggielandBigDeals.com.
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our Aggie broadcast sponsors, Schulte Roofing, Prosperity Bank, Hargrove Insurance, and Rudy's Barbecue. Here's a big gig 'em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
I, Louis Bellina, would like to invite you to hang out with me and my friends weekdays from 11 to 2 right here on The Zone. It's the Louis Bellina Show, presented by King Ranch Saddle Shop. Friends like Alan Ward of Brigadoon Brewery, Billy Lucci, Olin Buchanan of the TexAgs Universe, people like Joe Sheehan of the Joe Sheehan Newsletter, Bubba Bush of BV MMA and Fitness, and more. It's the Louis Bellina Show, presented by King Ranch Saddle Shop, weekdays 11 to 2 on The Zone.
And we're back. We call it TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner Schulers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Appreciate everybody listening in or watching on the CW or on YouTube, wherever you may be. We are now going to be discussing the best transfers of all time in college football. And, Obi, I was thinking about this because a couple names have popped up on my timeline. I just started doing the math. Like, man, there's been some pretty dynamic transfers. And I know you're a college football historian, if you will. So I came up with a couple names. I got a couple that'll throw out at you, and I'd love to hear from you as well, and from the audience on the A&B text line or the BCSI hotline 979-693-1150. So recently, Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow has to be the best ever.
Yeah,
I mean, he transfers from Ohio State. He wins the Heisman Trophy. They win a national championship.
He's so darn good
and
that
he does it at quarterback.
He's so darn good that he goes to the pros, goes to the Bengals, which are a dysfunctional organization, or they just haven't won, and takes them all the way to the Super Bowl. And maybe if the offensive line blocks a little bit, maybe they win the Super Bowl.
They got dang close. So, yeah, Joe Burrow would be, far and away number one in my mind.
Yeah. No,
I mean, there's a lot of other good ones. Jameson Williams at Alabama just last year was huge.
He was huge for them. And by the way, that's a Ohio State to Alabama transfer. So, I mean, how much better could Ohio State have been had they kept him and whatnot? So that's a good one right there.
Justin Fields,
yeah.
And then you Hunter Goodwin.
Hunter. I got one for you.
Okay.
J.J. Watt.
I didn't know he was a transfer.
Central Michigan.
I knew he was a
walk-on. He was a walk-on, but yeah, he started off at Central Michigan, transfers to Wisconsin, has to walk on to the team.
Oh, okay. I see how that worked.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I didn't know that.
So, and JJ didn't win at the highest level, obviously, but just, he's become a Pro Football Hall of Famer in the future, in my opinion. Randy Moss.
Yeah.
A lot of transfers.
Yeah. And there was a lot of reasons for those transfers.
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean that.
Notre Dame, Florida State, Marshall. Yep. One right down the road, Cam Newton. Then he started at Florida State.
Well, he started at Florida.
Excuse me, yes, Florida.
And then he had to he stole somebody's computer.
Yeah.
Got in trouble, so he ended up at Blinn.
Yep.
And then from Blinn to
Auburn. And he won a national championship.
And the Heisman Trophy.
And the Heisman Trophy.
But to me, there's a little bit of difference.
Okay.
In that you didn't just transfer from Florida to.
Yeah,
you got in trouble, so you ended up in junior college, and then I don't know if it's the same going from junior college.
It's not like what Joe Burrow did.
No, what Joe Burrow did, no.
No.
You can go back. Vince Ferragamo was at Cal as a quarterback and transferred out and went to Nebraska. I think they won a Big 8 championship with him at quarterback.
Yeah.
You probably find a lot of quarterbacks.
I got a couple recent ones that I think I don't know if you'll like, but I'll throw out at you. Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, that's a huge one.
Big one.
Again, he won the Heisman Trophy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how often do you get that? A transfer comes in with, Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. How about another one that went to Oklahoma from right here?
Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
How about some of these guys that actually came into A&M, right? Like, how about Aaron Glenn or he was a junior college guy, but how about Patrick Bates? Started at UCLA, came here and, was an All-American.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Here's one that I didn't realize was a transfer. O.J. Simpson. Apparently he started at City College, San Francisco. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I knew that. I knew that, but then he went straight to USC again. Now, if you get into the guys that start as junior college, I'll say Roger Staubach.
Number one, yeah.
Did you know he started at junior college?
For 1 year.
Yeah. Mike Rozier.
That's right. Yeah.
So, to me,
there's a difference.
There's a huge difference. Because to me, a junior college is just like, you don't go to a junior college to stay there. You go there to move on somewhere else. But when you sign with a major program, the idea is to stay there.
Sure. But I think it may depend on when you do the transfer, right? With the new rules today, those transfers are different. But there used to be, if you want to play right away, you'd have to go JUCO if you're going from a D1 to another D1 later. So you'd go and, I guess Cam Newton's a different example because he got in trouble.
But you could sit out a year.
Right.
Because if we're going to include junior colleges, again, I'd say Aaron Glenn. Now, the Aggies had a receiver. A lot of people remember being really good, Jamar Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
And he transferred from Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So you can, if I put more thought into this, I bet you I could come up with an entire team of guys that transferred, some set out a year, some under these circumstances. Henry To'oTo'o at Alabama, linebacker. And I thought Arkansas, their best defensive player last year, even better than their linebackers, was that Trey Smith who transferred from Houston at defensive end.
Yeah. So I forgot about this, and in fact, I'll let Emily read some of these text messages coming in. We'll go back to the News and Social Center, Emily Fiedler. You can start off with TexAgs and Taylor.
Yes, so TexAgs and Taylor says Sternberg.
Again.
Had a pit stop in between.
Right. Went from Kansas to a junior college here.
What other text messages do we have?
Dave says Cam Newton would have to be there right behind Burrow. His season to win it all was
Burrow-esque.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing. I actually was there for his game against LSU, where Jimbo was the offensive coordinator for LSU, where he had his Heisman moment when he had that about 40-yard touchdown run and carried Patrick Peterson into the end. But again, in my opinion, and it's just mine, if you have the junior college stop in between, it's not the same.
It's not the same. We'll do one more. Brandon in College Station. Emily?
Brandon in College Station says...
Excuse me, Stephen in College Station.
Oh, I was about to say, I don't see
She's
Brandon.
Where's Brandon?
Pardon?
Brandon Stewart from Tennessee to A&M at quarterback.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a big one.
Excellent.
Chase in Houston brings up Scott Frost. I forgot about that, but he did start off at Stanford and won a title with Nebraska. So
I didn't realize he had started at Stanford.
Yeah, he sure did. But you think of him obviously as a Nebraska guy. Oh, and Don West reminds us of a big one, a huge one, Troy Aikman.
Troy Aikman, yep, started at Oklahoma, went to UCLA after. It's funny. Barry Switzer was going to change his offense, and then they were okay. And then Troy broke his ankle.
Yeah.
Went back to Jamil Holloway. They win a national championship. Holloway is the first true freshman to quarterback a national championship team, and Aikman goes to UCLA. And he thought about going to Texas.
Yeah.
And Switzer said, before you do that, let me call Terry Donahue. Because he didn't want to play him.
Right.
But he can't play for me the way I want to play, but I don't want to play against him kind of thing.
Right.
He should have come to A&M.
I'm going to read one more, and this is another good one that I did have on my list. I just forgot to read it out loud. Matt in San Antonio, Russell Wilson started at NC State, transferred to Wisconsin.
And you know why?
Didn't they want to start the other quarterback?
Well, here's Tom O'Brien, the dumbest coaching. He ended up getting fired over this. Russell Wilson wanted to play baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, look, if you're not going to be out there in spring football, like he hadn't already proven everything you need to know about Russell Wilson, right?
Yeah.
He's already all conference, all ACC. And he says, if you're not going to stay here and give up baseball and play and go through spring football, then I'm going to replace you with Mike Glennon.
That's right, Mike Glennon.
I think it was Mike. It might have been somebody else.
No, I think it was Mike Glennon. Yeah.
And he said, okay, well, then I'll transfer. And so, he dang near won the Heisman, and they had a
wonderful season. Yeah.
And then they had a horrific season, maybe not horrific, but at NC State.
Yeah.
And O'Brien got fired because how big of an idiot I can't have this idiot being in charge of my program that would run off Russell Wilson.
100. The other thing he says, if you count all sports, Dylan Rock would make a strong argument for best transfer at Texas A&M. And Bohunk, being funny, says David Nuno transferred from Houston TV to TexAgs. Well, some people like that transfer. Some people don't. It's all right. We'll continue on with this dialogue.
You are the Joe Burrow of TexAgs transfers.
But it's spelled differently than the one that plays in college football. This is the guy who transferred from one store to the next store.
Why don't you just take the compliment?
You know what? I'm bad at taking compliments.
Why don't you? I'm kind of what would I be? I would be I don't even know what I'd be. I need to be somebody that was kicked off the team and been brought in.
Cam Newton?
No, because I didn't steal anything.
Well, our hearts, OB. You stole our hearts. Hey, we are way late for a break.
I'm the Jamario Johnson.
When we come back, we're going to go through the number 11 of the top 12 moments since I've been here at TexAgs. Just about a year, ladies and gentlemen. We'll have that when we come back on TexAgs.
Well, he survived football season and didn't enter the transfer portal. It's David Nuno on TexAgs Radio, weekdays on The Zone.
Does the insulated glass in your windows refuse to come clean no matter how hard you work? If so, the glass unit has probably lost its seal. You might notice moisture between the panes, a hazy look, shadows, or even the growth of some white mold. If so, it's time to call your friends at Intercon. Not only are these conditions unattractive, but you no longer have an insulated barrier in your windows. There are a number of options available to you to remedy lost seals. Most options allow you to retain your existing window frame and just replace the bad glass with a new sealed unit. Clear insulated glass offers an insulating pocket, but no protection against solar heat gain. Low E insulated glass adds a coating between the sheets of glass. The coating blocks about 80% of the solar heat gain, as well as the damaging UV rays of the sun. Another option is to trade out the entire window frame with a premium vinyl window. Since Intercon does both glass and windows, we can offer you a full complement of options. Call Intercon to get a free quote from a locally owned and managed business.
Whether you have new construction or an existing home, let the fine folks from Intercon help you keep your home energy efficient year-round. Call Brad Beard of Intercon today at 823-3639. That's 823-3639.
New message.
What up? It's Heather's cousin. You dated her in college, or maybe you were just in the same class. Anyway, I heard you bought a boat, my man. Let's hit the water. Oh, and Heather told me you always liked snacks and stuff, so I could totally bring some chips.
When you get a boat, you also get new friends. Make sure Progressive's one of them, and get coverage today for as little as $100 a year.
Hey, also, I'm a little short on cash, so can you cover the chips? Thanks. I can see why Heather liked you.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Annual premium for basic liability policy not available in all states.
By now, you've all heard of the world-famous Big Chop at Cooper's Old Time Pit Barbecue. But you haven't lived until you've tried Cooper's Pork Chop Special. Individual cut, bone-in pork chop, seasoned and cooked to perfection, cowboy style over mesquite coals, paired with one of your favorite homemade Cooper's sides, beans and barbecue sauce, for only $15.99. Experience the taste of local locally, Aggie-owned, nationally recognized Cooper's Old Time Pit Barbecue. Voted best barbecue in the Brazos Valley and proud supporter of Texas A&M athletics.
It's time. Aggie parking registration is now open.
Register for your 2022-2023 parking assignment online at transport.tamu.edu by July 6th.
Be prepared to update your license plate number during the registration process.
Don't wait. Log on to transport.tamu.edu 24/7.
Register for your 2022-2023 parking now.
Brought to you by Texas A&M Transportation Services.
The Louis Buchanan Show and Field of Family would love for you and your family to have the bestest, greatest summer ever. Enter now, go to zone1150.com, and you can win a Texas Summer Survival Kit. Go to Fiesta, Texas, Six Flags. Go to Cinemark Theater. Go to a Brazos Valley Bombers game. Win a gift card to Superior Auto Service and Field of Family. Enter now. You can win Treat the Family to a Texas Summer Survival Kit. Go to zone1150.com.
Things are feeling more and more like football season. The topics are coming back. Thank you to Aggie Baseball for making it a shorter offseason. What a run they had, finishing number 3. It's TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. OB, you helped me. You gave me some insight into my top 12 moments since I've been here. We kind of went through my list, and today we hit number 11. And number 11, I think, is special because I'm a basketball guy. I'm a football, baseball, basketball guy, but like during my youth, I really watched a lot of basketball. That was kind of what I was into. And you were the lone reporter from this area to cover A&M's SEC basketball run, and that is my number 11, the SEC tournament. And I kind of want to set the scene, and you can help us here, OB. You come into the tournament winning 4 straight games, 5 of 6, hot, but you felt like A&M had to win probably 2 games, maybe 1, but probably 2 games in the SEC tournament, and they ended up winning 3 against some quality teams. Let's start off with the Florida game.
Well, the Florida game was, that was an amazing game. And I remember late in the game, it looked like A&M was beaten. There was a pass that went out of bounds, and the one official ruled it Florida's ball, and then another guy comes over and says, no, and he said, hey, this guy from Florida touched it.
Yep.
And so they looked at it, and it was the right call, and so then A&M scores, goes back and forth, and then Hassan Diarra hits a deep 3. I can't remember if that game went to overtime or not.
So it did. So I have some notes here. Florida, they had a 16-point lead on Florida in the second half. They led by 9 with less than a minute in regulation. Q fouls out. Florida goes on a huge run, forces overtime, but it is Hassan Diarra who has the dagger.
Right at the buzzer, right?
Yep, right at the buzzer.
And it was a pretty deep 3.
Yeah.
And so they get by Florida, and you're like, hey, this is crazy. You know,
they should be in.
What a big win. Well, at that point, they're just still trying to get into the NIT, and you're thinking, I don't think you felt like it was a slam dunk for the NCAA.
But at that point, they had 21 wins, and we felt they could be. If you're one of the top 6 teams in the SEC, you can get in with 21 wins. Potentially could get in, but yes, we'll still talk about.
They were still like, yeah, you need to win another game, probably.
And then the next game came against the team that was number 1 for a big part of the year. They weren't number 1 when they played them. I think they were 3 or 4. Auburn. And what a game that was.
I remember just A&M playing so well, and Walker. I think, what was that guy's name? Walker, the big 7-footer from
Walker Kessler.
Kessler.
Yeah.
I want to say Little. I say, no, that's the football player. Walker Kessler had really been dominant in the first game, and he was about all they had in that game. The guy that
blew A&M out that first one.
Right. But they went at him. They got him in foul trouble, as I recall. I can't remember exactly who had the big game. It's probably Q. But
Q was huge on the free throw line.
But yeah, they just took it to Auburn, and they won that game pretty comfortably.
Yep. Well, it went into overtime.
Did it?
Yeah, it went into overtime.
I thought what they do in overtime then? I thought they won.
They were the better team in overtime. They won 83-80.
Okay.
Yeah, but
maybe it was that
they had a nice lead in that game.
Okay.
Again, like Florida, Auburn finds a way to force overtime, and then but they win the game. That's 6 straight wins, right?
Yeah, and then after that, you're thinking, okay, this team's maybe going to the NCAA tournament. I mean, you just beat Auburn.
Yep.
And how high was Auburn ranked?
Auburn was I think in the top 4 at that point when they played them. So then another
that's the game
ranked team, and Arkansas. This was awesome. This
Arkansas,
was
who went to the Sweet 16, and I do believe it was Quentin Jackson. Even though I remember Hayden Hefner having some big plays in that game.
He did.
And they just went and destroyed Arkansas.
They did.
They beat them by about 20 points, I think.
82-64.
And they were in control of that game, really the whole game.
And the Aggies for 15 turnovers in that game, which parlayed into 18 points. The Hogs only shot 16% from the three-point line. And I want to kind of remind everybody where we were on this show and what we're thinking. We were all mad at Joe Lunardi. Because remember, before the SEC tournament, he said there's no chance A&M is going to get in. And then during the SEC tournament, they get these wins, and Lunardi's like, I still don't think they've done enough. I still don't think they've done enough. Other people had A&M in.
Right.
I think Jerry Palm had A&M in. Lunardi was still anti-A&M, and he ended up being correct.
Well, here's why I ended up being correct, is that, and I'll die on this hill, 7 of the 12 members of the committee were from mid-major, either athletic directors or commissioners.
Yep.
And so that's why you saw teams like 5 teams from the WAC or the Mountain West, and they all got eliminated in the first round.
Yep.
Because they're like, hey, we're going to put our teams in here. And so it turned out Lunardi was right. Maybe he had been talking with some people on the committee, but that's what happened. I guarantee you that's what happened, which is another reason, getting off topic, but another reason why the large schools need to break off, and you don't find yourself at the whim of some commissioner from the whatever Conference USA or whatever, that Sun Belt or whatever commissioner he is from.
Bigger travesty, and this is not a fair question, but I'm just asking, that A&M didn't get into the college football playoffs, or A&M football or Aggie basketball didn't get into the NCAA tournament?
In 2020, that was the bigger travesty, because A&M's only loss was to the number 1 team. And they got picked over by, first of all, Notre Dame, which, they had a win over that team, Clemson, but they weren't number 1. But they beat Clemson when Clemson, everybody knows, Trevor Lawrence had COVID, didn't play. The next time they played them, when Trevor Lawrence was out there, it wasn't a game.
They blew him out. And if I remember correctly, and help me here, OB, the Notre Dame game versus Clemson early in the year was close.
Was close.
Yeah.
But however he says his name, that Ulalulu, did not play well.
Yeah.
And and then when you think Ohio State gets in playing 6 games, and I think only one of them was against a team with a winning record.
Yeah.
I mean, and everybody said, well, A&M lost to Alabama by 24 points or whatever it was. I've seen that. Don't want to see it again. Like, really? Because there's been plenty of rematches in college, in playoffs. I can tell you, I can remember LSU and Alabama had a rematch, and it didn't go the same way.
Yeah.
So, that was a bigger screw job than I think the A&M basketball team deserved to get in, should have been in, probably would have gone at least to the Sweet 16 had they got in. But, and you know what really pissed me off? Still, see, you brought it up and I'm getting angry.
Yeah, I like it.
Was that guy from, again, that commissioner says, well, they didn't win. They had this one period where they lost like 6 games in a row. And they had a good week, but it's based on the whole season. Well, if you look at the whole season, except for that period of time, which is about 3 weeks, where they lost 6 in a row, they started strong, they finished strong, and had in the conference play, and then had a outstanding tournament run. So if I'm going to look at the whole season, I'm seeing 3/4 of that season, A&M was excellent.
Yeah.
So you're a freaking liar, whoever you are. I've forgotten your name. I can't say on air what I'd like to say about that guy. I wish he was sitting right here where you are. And I'd say, we were off air.
Yeah.
So anyway, but they should have been in. But that thing with football was just a complete travesty. And it really came down to the names of the teams instead of the actual performance of the teams.
And part of the reason I picked this, because there's a lot of things that have happened over the last 12 months since I've been here, but that moment, just how we felt at the time, going through that and watching it in real time. One thing I didn't bring up that I'm glad Richard reminded me, you were there, but we were here watching in the back, all those games. Like we watched it as a team, and just the emotions that we had together at TexAgs, really a bonding moment where we got to know each other away from the microphone, if you will. They got to see how I handle games. Like I'm kind of quiet, and then I'm loud. I'm quiet, and I'm loud. And it was just it was fun. It was
Logan Lee will not watch basketball with anybody.
No?
Because he gets irritated. He'll tell you this, at people that don't understand everything that's going on, and he's watching it, with more of an expert eye than the rest of us. So, like, he doesn't like to be. I think Logan would rather not even have to sit next to me at a basketball game. But I've learned to ask him questions.
Well, is he like Billy Bean from Moneyball, where he doesn't watch the game?
No, because Billy Bean's not watching the game because he just, doesn't want to get all emotional and everything. And he had some kind of. Logan watches every game. He just doesn't want to watch it with anybody
because he knows way more. And it's like,
and he gets annoyed when someone says something that, oh, this guy sucks, and he's like, because he didn't do this. Well, he didn't do this because this and this and this. And if you knew what was going on, you know why. So he sees it with a more of a expert eye than most people.
I'm trying to think what I'm an expert at.
Hair.
No, not even hair.
No,
I got good hair.
Working out.
No. I
you don't like give people pointers.
I definitely, but I give people pointers.
Eating?
No, I'm not
Eating
an expert
healthy?
there either.
Great
no.
segues.
I'm just
segues.
No, I'm not good at that either. I'm just really average at a lot of things, and I don't mean that as like, oh, somebody text me and tell me I'm good at stuff. Like superhero stuff, there's people who know a lot more. Logan, like the way he knows basketball.
See, but I think that's a plus when people know more than you do about superhero stuff. I think one of my best assets is I have limited hero knowledge.
Well, we're gonna have to change that. Next segment, we're going all in on superheroes. Right now,
Peter
I'm talking
Parker,
about.
Man.
Speaking of segues, you know who's a superhero when it comes to telling your story?
Who would that be?
Like if it has a big H on his chest, it says H for heritage because he's going to tell your story, the heritage of your family. That's what Chance
Heritage Man.
Do that voice again. That was awesome.
Heritage Man.
Gosh, I see a comic book strip. I see it in the newspaper. That's exactly what Chance McClain does. He tells your story as
Heritage Man. I had to swallow some water.
I have to do that to him all show so he can lose his voice. All right, Chance is the most creative guy I know. He does these films about your family, these documentaries, and I'll tell you what, if you have the chance to check it out, you're going to love it because he is so good at what he does. He tells these stories. It takes about 2 months to get it done. It's a Netflix-style documentary, 8 to 10 weeks to finish it off. And he'll tell your story, and your family's going to have something to share to generation after generation. It is yourheritagefilm.com, 713-893-8341. Yourheritagefilm.com, brought to you by the best superhero of all time,
Heritage Man.
Heritage Man. Bye.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. The Daughters of the American Revolution will place a patriotic wreath at the American Revolution statue at the Brazos Valley Veterans Memorial Park in a ceremony on Saturday morning at 9. It's time again for the Elizabeth Lutheran July 3rd celebration in Caldwell. Festivities start at 6. Fireworks go off around 9:30. Visit elizabeth-lutheran.org for more information. Wednesday mornings this summer, Hospice Brazos Valley is offering a free grief support class for adults grieving the death of a loved one. Contact Hospice Brazos Valley for more information. The Keep Brazos Beautiful Annual Awards Luncheon is Thursday, August 11th at the Hilton in College Station. To purchase tickets or for sponsorship info, email Allison at keepbrazosbeautiful.org. Sign up now for the Zone All Access email newsletter. Find out the guest lineups, the giveaways, and take advantage of exclusive contesting and deals. Sign up now at zone1150.com. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
We're looking for the best, and we want you to decide. Voting is now open for the 22nd year of the Best of the Brazos Valley. Tell us who you like best in dining, shopping, wellness, services, and everything that makes this the best place to live. Vote online now at bestofthebrazos.com. Thanks in part to our sponsors, Oscar & Sons Body Shop, the Museum of the American GI, and America's Country Store and Pet Resort. Voting ends July 5th. You get one vote, so make it count. bestofthebrazos.com.
Celebrate the history of our national pastime at the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum in Cooperstown. See priceless treasures that will bring your baseball memories to life. Connect with events that have shaped and changed the game and our country. Our stories to tell, your memories to share. Plan your family visit today at baseballhall.org. See you in Cooperstown, where the journey becomes legend.
The biggest names in sports are on ESPN Radio.
Spent the whole last segment talking about how awesome Jimmy Johnson is. Now you're here.
As a kid, watching Jim Neighbors singing Back Home Again in Indiana, I would get the goosebumps. I'm not even from Indiana.
Gary Payton, Hall of Fame point guard.
For my son showing kids, it's not a big deal to have a disability. Just work through it and become the person you're going to become.
UConn women's basketball superstar Paige Beckers.
A couple years ago, this whole NIL thing didn't really exist. Doing it while inspiring the next generation of basketball players is awesome.
Three-time NBA champion Sean Livingston.
At the end of the day, we're all people. We play a game, but we're all dealing with real life, not just on the court, but off the court as well.
Cooper Cup Super Bowl MVP. I have to ask you about the McVay wedding.
The moment that stole the show was Sean and Veronica on stage singing California Love. After that happened, I was like, okay, well, we can go now.
Listen in to ESPN Radio, weeknights and weekends on Sports Radio, 1150 and 93.7 FM.
TexAgs Radio. Tell me about...
Farr says this is probably Jamie's favorite Tom Petty tune.
Really?
Yeah. You don't know how it feels to be me?
I didn't know that. She's a big Tom Petty person?
No, I don't know that. I'm just
throwing it out there.
Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, I like Tom Petty a lot. I know you.
Oh, I saw him in concert over at the Woodlands once.
Not that long ago, right?
Well, no, it's probably 20 years ago.
Oh, wait, is he still with us?
No, he passed away.
I was going to say, I said not that long ago. What concert did you go to recently? You went to
Jimmy Buffett.
Jimmy Buffett.
Who is still with us.
Tom Petty died 20 years ago, really?
No, Tom Petty died about 2 or 3 years ago,
Okay.
but it was like 20 years ago I went to see him.
Okay, I'm all kind of confused here.
There was a strange smell in the whole Woodlands Pavilion that night.
I wonder what it was. I remember I went to Vegas a year ago, right around now. It was Memorial Day weekend with Annalise, my daughter, and it was like the first weekend Vegas had really opened up.
Yeah.
And we were there for a soccer tournament, not to gamble. And she was like, "What is that smell everywhere?" I was like, "Sweetie, we have a long conversation to have. I don't know if I can have it right now." It was everywhere in Las Vegas. I guess it's legal there, or maybe it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it is. You can get used to it in college.
Yeah. OB, you're going to stick around for TexAgs Idol.
Sure.
All right. Well, you didn't know?
I forgot, but yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
TexAgs Idol coming up. Can we have a better performance than the last time we did this? We had a epic collapse last time.
I wasn't.
No, you were here for it. I'll remind you when we come back. It's TexAgs Radio.
Oh, yeah.
Biggest problems today is that we are afraid to have others challenge our mindset, and therefore we avoid topics that can lead to challenging conversations. At a young age, we're told not to talk about anything that is remotely divisive, but without having challenging conversations, how do you know that what you're saying is your truth and not just something you were raised to believe? Having conversations is how we learn. It's important to be able to see the other sides of things in order to form an opinion and choose what's best for you. Let's say you were raised to shower with all your clothes on. You could go throughout life thinking that is the best way to get clean. And if you never meet anyone brave enough to talk about hygiene, then you may never know that there is a better way. There's no reason to be afraid of differences. Limiting yourself to certain topics can render yourself unable to talk to friends, coworkers, or even family. To avoid challenging conversations is the same as to keep your mind trapped in a little box. Open your box and start having more civic conversation.
Civility. It's an American thing. From AmericanThing.org.
This is Aggieland's home for Aggie football, Aggie basketball, and Aggie baseball. The Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Plus online at RadioAggieland.com. This is KZNE College Station Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. Brazos County property owners using the split payment option should have received a courtesy notice that Thursday is the deadline to pay the rest of their bill.
We do lock the doors at 4:30 because we then have to start balancing, shutting down equipment, state equipment, things of that nature.
Tax assessor collector Christy Rowe reminds taxpayers of online options to avoid waiting in the heat outside of the tax office. Those paying online have until midnight on Thursday. Charging stations for electric vehicles in BTU territory will come as there is demand from the private sector. General Manager Gary Miller says BTU is planning to build one fast charger to complement two slower chargers in downtown Bryan. Beyond that, when BTU is asked, Miller says it would take 4 months or less to build.
From our perspective, it would take probably a couple of weeks to maybe a month to make the design work, and then installation probably another couple of months.
Miller says once BTU is asked, then they will develop their rules and regulations for charging stations. For the second consecutive year, a member of the College Station City Council was not happy that an outside company that has $1 million landscaping contract with the cities has vehicles blocking bike lanes and sidewalks. Responding to Elizabeth Kuhnha's concerns, Mayor Carl Mooney understands it's an inconvenience to motorists and those using bike lanes and sidewalks, but says those vehicles and trailers are parked that way to protect landscaping workers and their equipment. Construction continues on the City of College Station's water tower along the freeway near Baylor Scott and White Hospital.
I did ask because I said, I know they're going to ask.
Okay.
And I've just been told summer. Sometime this summer.
Summer.
Yeah.
So 2022.
So the filling hasn't started yet?
The filling has not started yet.
Water Resource Coordinator Jennifer Nations provided the update on the 3 million gallon tower nicknamed Rocky by WTAW's The Infomaniacs. For more news, go online to WTAW.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
Question. Would you pick a chain barbecue place over a hometown joint? Do you root for East Coast universities instead of the local team? Nah, then why choose a big Wall Street bank? A&B started in 1892. 5 generations later, we're still owned and operated by the same Texas family. We support this community. We value your privacy. We make quick decisions, and we hate red tape. We answer to you, not Wall Street. Bank with A&B. Family owned, Texas proud. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Big deal. Looking for more ways to save money? Aren't we all? Jenny here. Shop your local Big Deals online store. You'll find gift certificates to all kinds of local businesses, places where you already shop, restaurants you already love, and great local entertainment. The best part? All of these gift certificates are on sale at discounted prices. Get them for yourself or buy them as a gift. Shop and save. You'll be glad you did.
AggielandBigDeals.com to save big. AggielandBigDeals.com.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Sports Minute on the Zone. This Sports Minute is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click HilcoSupply.com. Texas A&M men's basketball is adding to its ranks, signing Wichita State guard and reigning AAC Defensive Player of the Year Dexter Dennis. Dennis played in 27 games for the Shockers last season, averaging nearly 8.5 points and 5 rebounds per contest. A graduate transfer from Baker, Louisiana, will join an Aggie squad that finished 27-13 last year and reached the finals of the NIT tournament. A&M football's Antonio Johnson has been named to the Walter Camp 2022 preseason All-America first team. The junior defensive back started all 12 games for the Maroon and White last year at nickel. Johnson was one of the team's top tacklers, racking up 79 takedowns. He also caused 5 pass breakups. And out to the baseball diamond, where the Brazos Valley Bombers steamrolled the Baton Rouge Rougarou last night, 11-1. Cameron Well and Davis Powell led the way at the plate, each collecting 2 hits and driving in 2 runs. Now, a pair of Aggies also got into the action. Brandon Bishop collected a walk and crossed the plate, while Robert Antonetti also drew a walk. With the victory, the Brazos Valley has now won 3 games in a row. The guys will hit the road tonight to visit Baton Rouge at 7 o'clock. And that's been your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On the Zone, I'm Zach Taylor.
The Louis Bellina Show and Field of Family would love for you and your family to have the bestest, greatest summer ever. Enter now, go to zone1150.com, and you can win a Texas Summer Survival Kit. Go to Fiesta, Texas, Six Flags. Go to Cinemark Theater. Go to a Brazos Valley Bombers game. Win a gift card to Superior Auto Service and Field of Family. Enter now. You can win Treat the Family to a Texas Summer Survival Kit. Go to zone1150.com.
It is the game show that is sweeping through the Brazos Valley. We call it TexAgs Idol here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. I am David Nuno, and we've got Olin Buchanan here with us, and of course Sam Kamen and Emily can chime in as we grade, analyze these contestants. By the way, I do want to say I did make a mistake. The Auburn game did not go into overtime. I said it did. It was the game before that went to overtime, just the Florida game. That Auburn game, they were up by, 20? And then I guess Auburn made a run at the very end, got it down to 4 with 30-something seconds left.
And then A&M was able to
finish it off. So
what a remarkable win that was. What a remarkable run.
It was.
They were out of gas when the Tennessee game came up, but should have been in the tournament. Should have been in NCAA.
Should have been in the tournament. So we're going to try. We tried this a couple weeks ago to go back and forth with our guest today. It is TexAgs Idol. The way it works is we got a couple contestants that are trying out to be on the fan show this week. If they win, they have a chance to be in studio for the fan show on Thursday. If they lose, well, then we'll just talk about them on the air and have fun. Olin is more the Simon. Sometimes.
Except I haven't had to be mean.
No, but you're not a mean person.
I've got it in me.
Sure, but yeah, I've seen it. But
got a mean streak in me.
Emily for sure will be the meanest one. Sam Kamen, he's so nice.
Emily's got kind of a blonde Paula Abdul look about her. So
no chance she knows who Paula Abdul is. Emily,
I have no idea.
Yeah, I told you.
Kids today.
I'll tell you what. All right, so let's start things off. Let's go first off to Sean and Brian on the BCSI hotline. He's going to be joining us here to do TexAgs Idol. Sean, good morning, man. Thanks for joining us here on TexAgs Idol.
Hey, good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us, man.
How are you guys doing?
We're good.
Well.
Yeah.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for having me.
So we're going to start things off. You got a little bit of list of the questions, and we're going to start things off with this. Which player or coach has had the biggest impact at A&M over the last year, and why?
To me, for a coach, you'd have to say Schlossnagle, because what he did was just amazing, getting this team to a College World Series, and we weren't even picked we were picked to finish second to last or whatever it was, and nobody expected anything from us, and we made it to the Final Four, and I think excitement for Aggie baseball is the highest that I've seen it in a long time. And I went to a baseball game last year, and it was just dead, and nobody cared. And for that team, or for him to do that with this team this year is just amazing, I think. And makes me very excited for next year.
All right. Good stuff there.
Yeah, it was sound. I disagree, but it was a sound and reasonable response. I still would say Jimbo Fisher, because the number one recruiting class and all that has come from that.
You got to hold on to that thought, because we have another guy going who may.
Well, I'm just saying this. Okay, but the point is that even if I disagree, I can give him credit for a sound, rational response.
All right, we're going to put him on hold because we're going to try to do Jeff Leopold here.
Oh, we're going to do it that way.
We're going to do it because
you're throwing me curveballs.
I threw a wrinkle to these guys. Whoever goes next has to have a different answer.
Oh, so you didn't tell me that.
So we're going to go to Jeff now. And Jeff, welcome to TexAgs Idol. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, good morning. How we doing?
Doing well. Thanks so much for joining us. So here's the question. Which coach or player had the biggest impact on A&M athletics in 2022? If you can, unless you have an amazing argument, pick somebody different than Sean just did.
Okay, well, I'll give OB his second curveball, and I'm going to say Bobby Taylor. Here's the reason why. He has gotten a lot of credit already, but we don't even know what the class he just helped recruit is going to do yet. So give it 3 or 4 years. We're going to see what happens. I think 2024 is Texas A&M's year. Those guys will be in the system, in the program for a couple of years by then. That's going to be A&M's chance at a title. So Bobby Taylor, who it's not even mentioned all too often, but he's a great football player himself. But he was an outstanding recruiter for the 2022 class. He helped bring them all in with the assistance of Jimbo Fisher. They're going to bring a title to Texas A&M. Bobby Taylor all the way.
I like his thinking.
But is Bobby Taylor? Didn't the question say coach?
No, player or coach.
Oh, player or coach. Oh, all right. My bad.
So you weren't listening, OB.
Well, I just finding out. I guess.
Yeah.
My bad on that.
So we're gonna keep it here with Jeff. So that was over the last 12 months. Now I want you to look into the future, the next 12 months. Which player or coach is going to have the biggest impact on A&M athletics?
It's going to be one of three people. It's going to be whoever is the quarterback of Texas A&M this fall. So King, Johnson, Wegman, all three of those guys, you can rank them however you want. I think King's the leader right now. All three of those guys are going to bring better quarterback play to Texas A&M than what we had last year. If that's the case, we should have a much better season than we did, which was 8-4, obviously.
This guy's got some well thought out takes.
Yeah, and he's but I don't know if you want him here. He's kind of a good-looking guy.
Yeah,
he's got good hair.
Yeah,
I don't know if you want that kind of. Yeah. If you want that kind of competition.
No. Hey,
once again, I disagree with that, but it's a very sound argument. He can make a very sound argument. It's a good point, but I wouldn't. But I'm not telling you what I think because I've learned.
You've learned. So let's go to Sean and Brian. Sean, we're going to give you a chance to look into the future. Over the next 12 months, who's going to have the biggest impact, player or coach?
I think I took a different approach to this answer. I think Nick Saban has been the coach that's had the best or the most impact on our football team, and that because he put us on. He called us out, so we had the best recruiting class, but we paid for it. And if that doesn't motivate the players to, circle that October 8th date on the calendar, or if the coaches, don't want to use that, then we got some problems. To me, that quote needs to be in every player's locker. It should be in the locker room. They should have that date circled, and we should be ready to play them. And Nick Saban's called us out, so we better be practicing tough, because you practice tough, you play hard. And so I believe we can beat them, and that's what needs to be happening right now. They need to build their confidence and know that they can beat Alabama. They did it last year. After all,
we've got two really good candidates today. Like so far, I haven't had a chance to make fun of
Well,
anybody.
what I'm liking is there's some thinking outside the box.
Yeah, they're bringing it. Yeah.
I don't know, once again, if I would necessarily agree with that, because do you need Nick Saban to make a stupid statement to be motivated to play Alabama?
No, but you know what? Whatever extra level you need to get to, I'm here for it. So.
Okay. Well, I agree with that. I mean, I'll take everything I can get, but I would think as a competitor, that game against Alabama, just playing Alabama is enough, especially if they're going to be as good as I think. What's going to be at stake?
Let me give you this perspective.
But if you want, it's like, hey, Saban.
So there's the Mike Tyson factor, right? Like, he's the best, and there's a little fear factor when you go into it. But when Mike Tyson bites your ear off and upsets you, and you're still trying to beat him, now you're taking your game to another level.
So he bit our ear.
He bit our ear, and we're Evander Holyfield. We're going to knock his out.
Well, I'm all for it.
Hey, Sean, we're going to keep it with you right here. This is an easy one for you.
Okay.
Sum up the baseball season in 45 seconds or less.
Oh, I mean, it was great, first of all, but, it reminds me of the little engine that could kind of our season. We started out slow, we were chugging along, and then all of a sudden things started to turn around, and we started to get wins, and we started getting confident, and pretty soon we were chugging faster, and we were saying, I think I can. We were getting confident. And for, that team to do what they did and to go into the College World Series and beat TU. I mean, I forgot how much that made my heart feel good, beating TU. It's something we need to probably bring back in football, which I guess is coming. But beating that TU team was amazing. And then beating that Louisville team put us over the hump, and it was like, wow, we're in the College World Series. Can't believe it. So that's how I would sum it up.
Sean, excellent stuff. I want to put you on hold as I bring Jeff back onto the show. By the way, if you want to vote on the winner today, you can do it during the segment or after. I'll announce it during the 10 o'clock hour. Just text us on the A&B text line, 979-693-1150. That was Sean and Brian. Now we go to Jeff. And Jeff, I'm going to ask you the same thing. Sum up the baseball season in about 45 seconds or less.
Well, we're going to remember this team for the rest of our lives, the 2022 baseball team. And as it's been pointed out, Schloss is going to have teams that are more talented. He's going to have better players in his tenure at Texas A&M. He's not going to have a team that has more resiliency, more fight. I mean, think about all the great moments that we had from a team that was basically picked last in the SEC, makes a regional, makes a super, College World Series. I mean, we beat Texas twice. I'm going to remember Dylan Rock's grand slam against Texas for a really long time. And I think that Texas win really is what kind of catapulted this team into elite territory and made it a really, really good team and really started, that great run that we had there at the end. So fabulous season. We got a great coach. It's only going to get better. Next season and every year after that, we may not make it to the College World Series every year, but I know that with Schloss, we're always going to be competitive.
So I'm going to say this to you, OB. This show's funner, or more fun, I should say.
Fun, yeah.
Funner. My kids would be like, Dad, what's wrong with you? It's more fun when there's somebody who sucks doing it. These guys are really good, and it's like it's better content for the listener, but I like to make fun of people. It's not working out for us.
I know. I guess we're going to have to make fun of Sam, I guess.
Well, that's easy.
Yeah. Both of these guys are sharp.
They are.
And they both know their A&M sports.
They're doing well.
So how are you going to decide?
Well, there's going to be voting. We're all going to vote.
Okay, well, I got to vote.
But we're not done.
Okay, there's
more. There's two more questions, and they're each going to get to do it. So we had this topic at 8:20, Jeff. We're going to keep it with you right here. Who is the best transfer in college football history and why? And I'm going to remind you that you get to go first this time, but I would like for Brian to use a different answer than you use. So go ahead. Who's the best in college football history?
Y'all listed out some really good ones earlier today. Most of the ones that people will think about. Joe Burrow, obviously, I think is going to be the biggest one. But you guys missed the most important transfer that we've seen in college football, and that was a particular person who transferred from Florida State to Texas A&M, and that's Jimbo Fisher. He is the person who put Texas A&M on the map. It was the SEC, it was Johnny, and now it's Jimbo. That's what catapulted us into the elite of the elite territory. It's going to be a great run.
So, Obi, I think you already have some thoughts. It's not what we asked, but I like where he took it.
Yeah, again, thinking outside the box. I think this is one time he should have stayed in the box. Because I don't know if it's a transfer when you get a $7 million a year for 10 years guaranteed. And
you took the good ones, OB. You took them.
Well, you can agree with me, and that would score points.
Yeah. Well, hey, good stuff there. Let's not try Sean and Brian once again. Sean and Brian, we're going to ask you. Now, this could be a slam dunk for you because according to OB, Jeff didn't play the game the right way. So, who's the best transfer in college football history?
Well, you guys named him earlier, so I have to agree with you guys. You guys didn't say he was the best, but you named him. But I think the best ever is Cam Newton. I mean, for him to take that Auburn team that wasn't very good and win the Heisman and win the national championship in 1 year, his first year there, I know what Burrow did was amazing, but I think LSU was a little further along than Auburn was at the time. And I remember when Gene Chizik, who was the coach of Auburn, got off the plane, and the fan told him, "We want a winner, not a loser." And so I didn't think he was going to turn the team around, but he got Cam Newton, and bam. And he was here so close to A&M, it makes you wonder if was Mike Sherman looking at him at all, or did he have no idea that he was there? I'd love to know that, because to let such a good player get out of Texas, that is crazy.
All right.
But I would say Cam Newton.
Does the figure 180,000 mean anything to you?
So OB did a column recently on the best 12 moments in Aggie baseball this season. So I'm going to ask you, Brian, what was your best moment in Aggie baseball?
It was Sean and Brian, FYI. So,
what did I say?
Not Brian, Sean.
Oh, sorry, Brian and
You
Sean.
said Brian.
Yeah, Sean. And Brian. So I lose
Yeah.
points on this segment.
Is there a Sean, Texas?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, Sean, Texas, a good town. Yeah. Well, good drinking buddy lives out there. Go ahead.
My good friends call me Shawnee Football.
Oh, I like that.
But you like that? Well, good. I like it too. To me, the best moment this year in Aggie baseball, I mean, I already kind of mentioned it earlier, beating TU in the playoff or in the College World Series tournament. I mean, like I said earlier, that made me feel love in my heart again, because saw those T-Zipper fans crying in the stands, and they're crying because they lost to us. So sorry, TU fans, but the eyes of Texas were crying that day. So that would be my top moment.
All right. Well, either vote for Sean or Brian goes to you. All right. So just so we're clear on that, either Sean or Brian, you'll get the vote, however it comes down. So I'm going to put.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna hang up on you there because we're gonna talk about the winner or our thoughts in the next segment. But wonderful job there, Sean. I'm gonna finish up here with
thank you,
sir, with Jeff on the BCSI hotline. So Jeff, the best moment in Aggie baseball this season is or was?
Well, rewind the clock. Detmer is pitching against Oklahoma. He gets pulled after less than 2 innings. 4 days later, he gets called up again by Schloss against Notre Dame. He goes 7 innings, no runs, only 3 hits. A&M beats Notre Dame. Best moment.
I like it.
It's pretty spectacular.
It was.
They're both good moments.
Yeah, you can't argue with either one. All right, Jeff, wonderful job. We're going to talk about you here in the next segment, and we're going to figure out who the winner is by the end of the show. We'll be in contact. All right, my friend?
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Made it hard for us. So let's do this. Let's hit a break. We'll talk about it for a few minutes on the next side. Everybody give their thoughts, and then we'll open up the text lines for people to vote. Do you think Sean and Brian won? Do you think Jeff won? Remember, the winner will be invited to studio on Thursday for our fan show. So think about that. It's TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. The Franklin Ranch invites you to a free fireworks show on Wednesday. Hot dogs, drinks, chips, and snow cones will be provided. Food starts at 6. Fireworks start at 9. Award-winning storyteller Tony Simmons is speaking at the Brazos Valley African American Museum on Thursday at 7 p.m. Admission is free. College Station Noon Lions Club is hosting the 3rd annual I Love America donation drive at the Brazos Center on Saturday from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. All donations support families in need through the Salvation Army BCS. For more information, visit csnoonlions.org. Friends of the Wheelock Schoolhouse invite you to their 4th of July barbecue and parade. The fun starts at 10 a.m. at the Wheelock Schoolhouse. You can listen to The Zone online at radioaggieland.com. Listen to TexAgs Radio, The Louis Bellina Show, Chip Howard, or ESPN Radio, plus all your favorite A&M teams online at radioaggieland.com. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Swing free all summer long at Big Shots Golf. Get your Hot Shot Summer Pass and enjoy perks you won't want to miss. With the Hot Shot Summer Pass at Big Shots Golf, you'll get 2 hours of tee box time for up to 6 people per day. Plus, kids 12 and under eat free on Mondays, and you get special summer perks valued up to $200. Get the Big Shots Golf Hot Shot Summer Pass today while supplies last. Buy yours today at bigshotsgolf.com or swing by.
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our Aggie broadcast sponsors. Lance Lester at the Lester Group, Zwerneman Flooring, The Sleep Station, and Twin Peaks. Here's a big gig-em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Max Kellerman.
Dennis in Delaware has something to say.
When Keyshawn has a little gray hair on the side of his head, he looks like Denzel.
He does not look like Denzel Washington. Stop, Dennis. Next caller. Denzel Washington. Get the
America's caddy, Michael Collins, ESPN
MC.
golf analyst.
Key was, man, you look like if Denzel and Larry
Johnson's grandmama had a baby, man. I see Key, and I want to just go, my man. Let me tell you, I met Denzel earlier this summer, and when he came out, and he looked at me and he goes, my man, when you go at Stephen A. Smith, man, I like that. And I was just like, yeah! I turned into I went fanboy crazy. Yeah, so, hey, that's a compliment.
My man.
Spend your mornings with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor. Mornings from 5 to 8 here on The Zone.
I can't make up my mind. Someone has to help me. I never seem to.
It is TexAgs Radio. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Appreciate everybody chiming in on the A&B text line. Would love for you to vote for who you think the winner is. We just did TexAgs Idol. If you were listening, hopefully you got some thoughts. I'd say this is probably the tightest competition, not voting-wise per se, because we still got to let the votes go for a little bit. But we've had a couple close ones. I remember when Sutton won a couple weeks back, it was tight. There was another one that was really tight. Maybe the first one.
First one, yeah.
Yeah, first one was super tight. This one I feel like is pretty neck and neck, at least from the presentation. Sean and Brian, I'm giving him an extra vote because I called him Brian and Sean. Just for that, and it's my show, so I can make the rules. But he was excellent, and Jeff was excellent. So, OB, I'll let you start off the discussion. What did you like, and are you voting one way or another?
Well, first of all, I liked them both. I liked how they kind of thought out of the box. I like that. How can you not like Sean when he's expressing his complete disdain for Texas?
Mm-hmm.
But I thought Jeff, with the exception, I didn't like his answer to the coach or player. My answer, by the way, is Devon A-Chain. But,
okay.
I'm not going to fault anybody too much for being, trying to do something a little bit different and not just, not going for low-hanging fruit.
I'm glad you said A-Chain there because I think tomorrow I might ask you that question. We'll go into depth. Who could be the 2 or 3 guys that define, who's had the biggest impact on campus next year. So we'll have that. I want to read a couple of these that came in on the chat, and then so who'd you vote for?
I think, this is tough. I really like what they both had to say for the most part, but I think that I would have to vote for Jeff just because he seemed a little more comfortable.
Yep.
That's all.
Let's see. Andrew says 3, which makes me think the third guy, which we didn't have a third person, so he's not voting for anybody. Herbie says cringe. So I guess he thought somebody was cringe. But then Matt says, how do you beat Shawnee football? And that is a good nickname.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
I like that.
Pretty good. Sam Kamen behind the glass. You got a vote?
It's too close to call just yet. I'm still
come on, Randy Jackson.
Hey.
Have an opinion.
Well, I think
you're not going to hear any more. What do you mean it's too close to call right now? There's not going to be any more.
Well,
you got to sleep on it?
Yeah, I'm going to sleep on it. No. I got 30 more minutes. I'm ready for RC Slocum, but I think the take about Bobby Taylor and Nick Saban were very interesting, and like you said, the outside the box was very unique and much appreciated. It got me thinking more and more about things, but if I had to choose, I'd probably be leaning towards Jeff, but
I think
we'll see.
I mean, when I say Jeff over, the more I think about it, I think Sean had slightly better answers.
Are you changing your vote?
No. I mean, again,
maybe you should think about it a little bit more.
I'm not like you. I make an opinion, and I'm going to stick with it. But I'm saying I think Sean might have had slightly better answers, but I don't think the
presentation from Jeff was
we're talking about 9.9 versus 9.89. And then the presentation, I think, gives him just a little bit of an edge. I mean, it's that close in my mind.
I'm trying to be like Buzz and fully analyze every single part of.
Oh gosh, we'll get back with you next month.
All right, let's now go to Emily Fiedler. There's some text messages coming in. I'll let you read a couple of those. I know Ross has got an opinion, and Old Ag's got an opinion. Let's get a couple.
I want to know what Emily's opinion.
Well, what are you
is.
thinking, Emily?
Put her on the spot.
It was very close, but I think Jeff.
Yeah.
I think
Why?
he had better out of the box.
Okay,
answers.
so you like out of the box answers. Okay.
It gives you more to talk about.
All right.
Gets you thinking.
Okay, so all right. Paul Abdul.
Hot takes are a good thing.
All right.
But on the A&B hotline, we have Old Ag said Jeff, he was so polished, could sit on the desk right now, or could sit in on the desk right now. Ross from east of East Texas says both.
Okay, yeah. I can see that.
Stan from Richmond says I vote for Jeff.
Okay.
So lots of Jeffs.
So Jeff is right now winning, but we're going to close the voting at around 10:35. So we got about an hour worth of voting.
Which way are you going?
So I was going to wait,
Simon
but I'm going. I'm leaning towards Jeff because of the presentation, but I think that Sean had the better thoughts. Maybe, right?
Yeah.
But I think the presentation from Jeff.
The guy that said 3, maybe he meant Brian.
Oh, because he thought there was a Sean and a Brian. But, we're going to open up the votes for about an hour, and then we'll tabulate it. Here's the bottom line, and we've said this only one other time. Either guy can do the show, right?
No doubt.
They could absolutely do the show.
They know their Aggie sports.
So I see Brad and Brenham on hold. Brad, we got to get to RC Slocum, so can you call back at around 9:50? All right, we'll take you around 9:50. We'll get to your thoughts on that. Right now I'm talking about Caprock Health. You got to experience the difference when you're in an emergency situation. They are 100% locally owned and operated a healthcare system here in the Brazos Valley. They put the patient first in every decision that they make. And coming from, I was out of town in another state, and I had to go to an urgent care, and I quickly left because it was not the kind of service you would get at Caprock. I got in there was a long line, people coughing all over each other. They didn't even know if they could do what I needed them done to my son. He had a broken wrist, and I needed, we knew what had to be done. We had already talked to an orthopedic surgeon who was at our game, yada, yada, yada. It was a terrible experience, so we left. We said, we're out. We don't have time to wait here. That's why I love that I have Caprock right down the road from my house. It's a place that's going to make you feel better immediately when you walk in. Caprock Hospital in Bryan and Caprock 24-hour emergency center there in College Station. They both have 0 wait times for emergency care, so you'll never have to sit in a crowded waiting room. The hospital and 24-hour ER maintain a clean and sterile safe environment. It is Caprock Health System.
Who cares if he's wearing a schmedium and tight pants?
3, 2, 1, go.
It's TexAgs Radio with David Nuno on The Zone.
Does the insulated glass in your windows refuse to come clean no matter how hard you work? If so, the glass unit has probably lost its seal. You might notice moisture between the panes, a hazy look, shadows, or even the growth of some white mold. If so, it's time to call your friends at Intercon. Not only are these conditions unattractive, but you no longer have an insulated barrier in your windows. There are a number of options available to you to remedy lost seals. Most options allow you to retain your existing window frame and just replace the bad glass with a new sealed unit. Clear insulated glass offers an insulating pocket, but no protection against solar heat gain. Low E insulated glass adds a coating between the sheets of glass. The coating blocks about 80% of the solar heat gain, as well as the damaging UV rays of the sun. Another option is to trade out the entire window frame with a premium vinyl window. Since Intercon does both glass and windows, we can offer you a full complement of options. Call Intercon to get a free quote from a locally owned and managed business.
Whether you have new construction or an existing home, let the fine folks from Intercon help you keep your home energy efficient year-round. Call Brad Beard of Intercon today at 823-3639. That's 823-3639.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money. But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Kasasa Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash rewards. Use your debit card for everyday purchases, and we'll pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Kasasa or visit ANB.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
We're here with Jason Rollo of Rollo Insurance. Jason, when we say the difference is real, what does that mean?
Well, first of all, when we use the term real, we're speaking about being genuine. And I think that anyone who does something in a good way has to be genuine. But also when I think about the term real, I think about rates, education, assets, and life. Many people think that insurance is about rates. Although that's important, it's actually about education of what you're buying to protect your assets, and we want to do that for the life of the client.
For more information, go to RolloInsurance.com/TexAgs.
Our publications reach every corner of the Brazos Valley, and we want to partner with you in sharing your message with the community. You may recognize a few of our Bryan Broadcasting publications.
Best of the Brazos Valley.
Brazos Life, the annual manual. Welcome home, Brazos Valley.
Brazos Family. Brazos Wellness.
Brazos Valley Bride.
Peace, Brazos Christian Life.
With the combined power of 7 magazine titles, 11 radio stations, and digital solutions, Bryan Broadcasting Publications can help you be heard. Call 979-695-9595 to learn more.
I, Louis Bellina, would like to invite you to hang out with me and my friends weekdays from 11 to 2 right here on The Zone. It's the Louis Bellina Show, presented by King Ranch Saddle Shop. Friends like Alan Ward of Brigadoon Brewery, Billy Lucci, Olin Buchanan of the TexAgs Universe, people like Joe Sheehan of the Joe Sheehan Newsletter, Bubba Bush of BV MMA and Fitness, and more. It's the Louis Bellina Show, presented by King Ranch Saddle Shop, weekdays 11 to 2 on The Zone.
You got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you need to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right.
All right, TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, texting back and forth with R.C. Slocum. Should get him here on the show in a moment. Looks like we need to text him the link there, guys. So just text him the link to get him back up on the Zoom, and we'll get him here on the program. Or you can call R.C. Slocum too. That's another option to do. By the way, guys, I want to say that that last 30 minutes of radio, I think the both guys did great. Jeff or James or Brian or Sean, whatever name, it was just a train wreck of names in there, but just know that I thought both guys did excellent jobs. So as I've said, one other time, I would not be surprised if one of those guys or both of those guys do our fan show at some point. As a programming update for this week, we will be doing live shows through Thursday. And then on Friday, we'll have a best of, and on Monday, we'll have a best of, and then back at it on Tuesday. So looking forward to that, and we'll see how all those things shake out. And Bronny will be in for a couple days next week. I think Dalton will come back, and the Zahner as well. So we're working on getting R.C. Slocum here momentarily on the program. One of the topics that we started off the show, though, is the best transfers of all time. And what I liked about some of the answers were that people were taking different spins on it, right? Like some people were like, well, to me, there's only one real obvious. I think there's a 1A and a 1B. The 1A is Joe Burrow for the kind of phenomenal season that LSU had in 2019, that amazing offense, the way they were able to just destroy everybody that they went through, no doubt. But beyond that, I mean, Cam Newton does make sense. Now, he's a different way of getting there, right? The way Cam Newton got there is a different answer. So let's now go to the BCSI hotline. We are joined by R.C. Slocum. Sorry about the link not getting to you there, Coach. How are you this morning?
Well, I'm doing well. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us here on the program. So, R.C., I know that you and Olin caught up a few months back, and we're so happy to see you doing so much better. But just give us an update on how you were doing, how your life is going. How are you feeling?
Well, I feel really well. I still don't have. I've got some, I'd say, balance issues. I can get around. I'm actually trying to play golf now. Not playing as well as I would hope, but that's always been the case. But it's fun to be back out when my guys would come by and on the golf course back when I was going through treatment. And I said, man, if I could just be out there on a sunny day with you guys, I wouldn't worry nearly as much about making a double bogey. But so now I'm getting to see if that's really true or not. But I think I'm doing fine. I'm making progress. I've been told that the balance and neuropathy issues will get better with time. And so I'm just trying to be thankful for where I am. I feel well. I'm sleeping well, eating. I gained all my weight back. I'd lost 30 pounds at one time, but I've gained that all back. And so God is good. I'm doing well.
How often do you try to play?
Oh, maybe once a week, sometimes maybe twice. I went out on this past Saturday to the 12th man summer board meeting last Friday and Saturday, and I played down there last Saturday morning, and that was fun. But usually, once a week, maybe twice. Sometimes I play twice, but most of the time about once a week, and they go hit balls one day or something. But it's been really hot, which takes some of the fun out of it.
Oh, it's been ridiculous out there, Coach. Coach Slocum here with us on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. So just kind of take us through the journey, how difficult it was, getting the diagnosis and going through the chemotherapy and everything you had to do, and how you had to stay focused in order to be where you are today.
Well, it's been almost a year. This is almost the anniversary about now. I was fine. I was playing golf and working out at the ranch and doing basically whatever I want to do. And I've been blessed. I never missed a day's work in my life and being sick, and just felt pretty good. And I had a little cough that I had from time to time. Man, I had no other symptoms, no sore throat, no anything. And my wife kept quizzing me, what's that? Where's that coming from? And it wasn't, if it was all the time, I would have been concerned, but it was just occasional. So anyway, I went to the doctor and said, I want to, find out what's causing this or whatever, and took a chest x-ray, and then they saw some things they wanted to look at some more, so I took a CT scan, and then it showed that I had lymphoma. And so I went to MD Anderson and got diagnosed and tested down there and got on a schedule. And I asked them if I could possibly take the chemo here in town at Baylor Scott & White. I'd actually served on the board out there for a period of time and knew them and was impressed with how they did things. And so they allowed me to do that. So it saved me from having to drive to Houston and fight that traffic to get down there. And because it's a progressively downhill. I was fortunate. I never had the nausea that a lot of people you hear about going through chemotherapy. I never had that, but I just felt weak, very weak, and just listless, and just, no appetite, had trouble sleeping, and just, it's an ordeal to go through. And I'm so thankful that I could do it here, at least sleep in my own bed or try to sleep in my own bed at night. But that was a 6-month deal. Every other week I took the chemo. I took a lab early Monday morning to see if my white blood count was up high enough that I could take the chemo, and I did that. And then that Wednesday and Friday, I'd go to the hospital and take a Zarzio shot to boost the white blood count. And the following week, I'd go Monday, Wednesday, Friday to take that shot, and I'd be back to chemo again. I did that for 6 months. But fortunately, after 5 treatments, I was tested, and the cancer was gone or in remission. And the doctor wanted to continue the treatments. I was ready to say, okay, we're done. He said, oh, we got to keep pushing through. I said, well, you're the head coach, so if that's what you think we need to do, we'll do it. And so I went through all 12. I finished November 29th was my last one. But because of COVID, it was way worse because I couldn't have anybody over. I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't go out to eat. I was pretty much just confined to, during that period of time, I was at home or at a hospital, and that was no fun. I went through a whole football season, first time since I was in junior high, I guess, I didn't see a college football game in person. And so that was disappointing. I got to watch some great games. I watched the Alabama game, of course, and I enjoyed watching that. And, but anyway, I feel very fortunate that I'm back somewhat normal activity now, and feel good about it.
RC, did you learn anything about yourself during this, like stuff you didn't know about yourself or how to fight through? I mean, was there anything that was enlightening going through this for you?
I think the big thing you go through, I'd always been so healthy that I had not spent any time worrying about my health or how long I was going to live or whatever. We all know we're not going to live forever, but I think probably just appreciating the little things, appreciating feeling well. And, I always felt well, so I that was kind of a norm for me, and I never gave any thought to not feeling well. And so during that time when it was so bad, I said, "Man, if I could just feel well, and so just the little things, I think too. And I say this is something that I think all of us should live by. If you and those around you, close to you, have their health, whatever other problems might be they're distant and secondary problems, and I think a lot of people spend their lives always upset about something. They get up in the morning, there's some little something wrong, and that gives them a reason to be upset that day or unhappy. And then the next day there's something else. And so there's always, instead of looking for the good things, and if you can get up out of bed, move around on your own, that's a real good thing. And then if those around you, your loved ones, they all can do that, then you deal, I think part of life is having problems, and you deal with the problems, but just don't let the problems manage your life or overshadow your happiness. I think, it's a challenge to get up and say, I want to enjoy this day. I've got another day, and I try to do that. I've always tried to do that before, but I think even more so now that, I don't know, what the future, I'm not even worried about it. I got this day right now to do that, and I've chosen to spend time with TexAgs today, so that should make you guys feel good.
Well, we are blessed to have you here on the show, Coach, and I do want to ask you one final health thing and then move on to some football topics, but it's not even a health thing, just how that moment at 1860 Italia that you were surprised by who was there. Kind of take us through that story, because I think it was such a beautiful part of Olin's piece on you.
Well, Jacob called me. Jacob Green, he's like a son to me. He called me and wanted to know if we could get together and have lunch. And it's like a week or so later. I said, yeah, that's fine. I mean, it struck me as kind of strange. He said, well, I got a guy coming in from out of town, a friend of mine that you met him. We were up in Seattle, and he's coming in to visit, and all. And I said, okay. So then a day or two before, he said, I'm going to wear a sport coat, Coach. You might want to wear a jacket. And I started saying, okay. It's supposed to be, so anyway, we started driving over there. He said, I'll come pick you up. And I said, no, you don't need to. That's out of your way to come over here and pick. He said, no, Coach, I don't mind that. I'll be at the office. I'll just swing by and pick you up. So there were things in there that didn't add up. But anyway, we're driving, and we get to where to turn. And he's not in the turn. I said, son, you got to get over here in this lane over here. Well, I missed the turn, So he was buying time to make sure everybody was there. So I'll walk in, and I look back. I look back at the back, and I see Dat Wynn. I see Richmond Webb. And I said, what the heck? Well, hey, man, if you done, I look over to my right, and I see Olin Buchanan. I said, what's going on here? Then my wife had left that morning. She kind of got dressed up, and had some errands to run and this and that. And I look, I see my wife. So anyway, they had a surprise deal. I'd been inducted at bowl in Houston. The Texas Bowl had, every year they have Texas football legends. And I'd been inducted during the game, but not really officially inducted. So they came up here from Houston, and it was a surprise luncheon to induct me into Texas football legends, and gave me a couple of nice gifts. One, just a beautiful big Western style belt buckle with my name on it and Texas football legends on it. So it was a nice event. There's something uplifting. I'd not been able to go during the season when they had the game. I couldn't go to it because of the COVID deal. So that was nice deal. Good to see that. Came down from Fort Worth to be there. Richmond came up.
It's such a beautiful story, Coach Slocum.
Yeah, no, it's fun deal. Those things are meaningful, and especially the players. The relationship with the players is seldom a day that goes by that I don't hear from one of those guys. And That's really the joy of coaching. Like the lasting, the trophies, the whatever, all that's fun. But the relationship with those guys is that you shared part of your life with, and they shared part of their lives with you. That means a lot. It means a whole lot to me.
RC, let's look ahead to football season. Just how excited are you for college football to be, 67 days away? And we've got A&M, I think, on a great path here with all the recruits that Jimbo's brought in and the culture that he has established. What are your thoughts heading into this 2022 season?
I'm excited about it. I'm hopeful that, it looks like I'll be able to go some games this year. I really missed that, being there, just the atmosphere, of Kyle Field and seeing friends on a weekly basis and then watching the team play. I watched those games last year. I watched all of them on television. I'm excited. I told someone recently, I spoke at the Dallas Coaches Night, and I said, I'm really pleased that if you go around the country, as we get closer to the season and the conversations turn to this fall and who's going to be good, who's going to be good in college football, who are the top teams, A&M will be in all those conversations, regardless of what part of the country you're in. If you're talking about coming up this year, who are the teams that you need to watch? We'll be one of those teams, and that's something I think for a long time we've all had that goal. To say, hey, we want, when they start talking about college football, we want A&M to be in the conversation, and we are. And then, you have to do it on the field. We get there, and we've recruited well. We've got good-looking players. We've got good coaches. I think our quarterback situation is one that if you look at any team, I don't care if you're talking about the National Football League or college football, you just can't be very good without a good quarterback. That position has become increasingly important over my lifetime in football. As I looked, there was a time when if you had a guy who was a good operator and smart, and you could get by with a guy that may not be a great quarterback, but you could win within the system. And I think as time has evolved with the passing leagues and with the nature of the game, with the spread offenses and the high-octane offenses, you can't now. And defenses are good, too. It's really a compliment to defense. Defenses have become so good that now the single most important element are if you go through the analytics and everything that we used when I was on the college football playoff committee, the single most important aspect right now of winning a game is explosive plays on offense. And if you can't make explosive plays, defenses are too good to take the ball and just the old thing of 3 yards and a cloud of dust and drive. You can't do that because sooner or later they'll stop you. You'll get a penalty. You'll miscue or something. You can't score enough points to win. So you have to make explosive plays on offense, and it's almost impossible to do that without having a big time quarterback. And so, that being said, I think that's the key element, and I think we have at least 3 good candidates that I'm aware of that all have a chance to be good players. And so I think the development at that position will be critical to, and you got to have all the other things too. But I think the quarterback position stands above all the rest. You have to have good performance there if you're going to be real good. Now, you can win games without great performance, but you can't win championships unless you got a big-time quarterback.
Coach Slocum, thank you so much. We're so happy to hear you doing so well, and I can't wait to see you there at Kyle Field, and it's just so great to hear your voice, and we can't wait to run into you, sir.
All right. Thanks a lot. You guys have a good day.
Thank you very much. R.C. Slocum there on the BCSI hotline. A quick break. We'll come back on TexAgs Radio.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone.
The Daughters of the American Revolution will place a patriotic wreath at the American Revolution statue at the Brazos Valley Veterans Memorial Park in a ceremony on Saturday morning at 9. It's time again for the Elizabeth Lutheran July 3rd celebration in Caldwell. Festivities start at 6. Fireworks go off around 9:30. Visit elizabeth-lutheran.org for more information. Wednesday mornings this summer, Hospice Brazos Valley is offering a free grief support class for adults grieving the death of a loved one. Contact Hospice Brazos Valley for more information. The Keep Brazos Beautiful Annual Awards Luncheon is Thursday, August 11th at the Hilton in College Station. To purchase tickets or for sponsorship info, email allison@keepbrazosbeautiful.org. Sign up now for the Zone All Access email newsletter. Find out the guest lineups, the giveaways, and take advantage of exclusive contesting and deals. Sign up now at zone1150.com. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
It's time. Aggie parking registration is now open.
Register for your 2022-2023 parking assignment online at transport.tamu.edu by July 6th.
Be prepared to update your license plate number during the registration process.
Don't wait. Log on to transport.tamu.edu 24/7.
Register for your 2022-2023 parking now.
Brought to you by Texas A&M Transportation Services.
New message.
What up, what up? It's Heather's cousin. You dated her in college, or maybe you were just in the same class. Anyway, I heard you bought a boat, my man. Let's hit the water. Oh, and Heather told me you always liked,